Mr. Trump is unpredictable. That was a bit of a puzzle. The president in the White House, if there's any precedent, Mr. Trump is unpredictable, that he has to put it bluntly, an extremely unusual style amongst the world's history of heads of governments. I don't think we've seen anything quite like this. His negotiating style is itself a challenge, and the combination of a certain lack of diplomatic tact and a certain, shall we say, a certain willingness to do things that nobody else in his position would have thought of doing or saying has stung us. And what's worrying is that there seems to be a willingness to just discard offhand a quarter of a century of very serious, dedicated, devoted strategic engagement with India, which involved also persuading India that there were a certain set of assumptions in Washington that New Delhi should be happy with. And suddenly that whole thing has been tossed aside, and it's a bit of a shock.
See, you carried the folder post-Sindoor. You went to the United States.
Yeah.
And you engaged with a lot of...
Absolutely. At every level except Mr. Trump. I saw Vice President Vance, I saw the entire establishment, such as it was, of the State Department. I saw the members of the Senate Foreign Relations Committee and the House Foreign Relations Committee. I met every single think tank. I spoke at the Council on Foreign Relations. I met the media. I spoke at the National Press Club. I don't think there was much left. And throughout, I can assure you, we got a tremendous amount of positive response.
Did you pick up anything of this sort going?
Not at all. On the contrary, we got an absolutely positive level of engagement at every level in the United States. Understanding of our position, sympathy for us on Pahalgam, support for what we had done. I can tell you the Vice President actually said, we respect the restraint and responsibility you have shown. Once I'd explained the manner in which the operation had been conducted, there was total receptivity and engagement. I cannot tell you how pleased we were when we left with the quality of our meetings at all levels of the United States. And so this was a shock for every one of us who'd been to Washington on that trip, and I think to most people
so it was India. A shock. And was it also a shock that he had a meal with Asim Munir?
Which, sorry? Yeah, I mean, that was a bit of a puzzle. First of all, I don't think there's any precedent for a military officer who is not a head of state or government to be received by the president in the White House. So that's a completely unprecedented action.